ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नास्तु प्रयेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहे। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. So welcome you all today again on our Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. I don't know why it's asking to in the waiting room, sorry. Anyway, I'm just read everyone. So yesterday we have seen how Parikshit Maharaj actually given shelter to Kali, and Kali started spreading his things day by day. And then Sukadeva Goswami started speaking about Krishna, and he said, how to live and how to live, the both processes bhakti. He said, we should be hearing about Krishna, speaking and glorifying about Krishna, and remembering Krishna. The three things he said. And then at the end he says, we should be Jewish. Bhakti is the best process to do. And then he compared with Ashtanga Yoga and then Jnana Yoga and then, uh, demigod worship as well. And he says, the best essence is bhakti. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udharati. Even if you have a desire, don't have any desire, if you have any liberation, the best thing you do is take shelter of Krishna. One second. Looks like some network issue again today. Okay, so we'll start chapter 4 today, where the process of creation being described, how this cosmos or this material world is being created, that's being described here. And Maharaj Parishit, by hearing this glorious, he actually appreciated Sukadeva Goswami, and he said, yes, please describe me more. And then as Sukadeva Goswami told that, one should perform all his family duties. So family duties, it not need to be given up. It needs to be performed. However, that's not the only purpose of human life. We should also cultivate the path of spiritual realization. So that was the conclusion of a study. He said, we don't have to give up our family life. Even Srila Prabhupada also advises us that if you are having a good job, you don't have to quit your job. You need to take care of family. In the same way, in the same side, just start worshipping Lord Krishna as well. Start using your time, rather than using in the mundane times. He said, Sukadeva Goswami said, people in general, they use their time by wasting reading mundane script, mundane kind of newspapers and literatures and all that. But people should try to utilize their time for self-realization as well, and also doing their own family duties. Even Maharaj Parishit also, he ruled the kingdom, but at that time when he knew that, okay, now only 7 days left, he came back. But again, while he was ruling, he was always conscious of Krishna. He was always searching about Krishna. He was always trying to know about him as well. So that the learning that we don't have to give up our family duties. We need to carry on with the family duties too. And then Parikshit Maharaj asked some questions. He said, your speech are actually destroying my ignorance. I have so many ignorance, and that's being the ignorance actually is with us, the darkness. And by hearing Krishna Katha, it get destroyed. So he said, please explain. Okay. He said, please explain more about it. Right. And then he didn't jump into the pastime of Krishna direct in Ras Leela and others. Normally in Bhagavad Katha, we have seen that, within short time, the speaker, he just directly goes into the Ras Leela and describe about that Ras Leela pastime of Krishna. But before that, Maharaj Parikshit said that, please describe me about how this world has been created. How the energies act to create this world, rather than jumping directly to the pastimes of Krishna. Then Sukadeva Goswami answered him. He said, actually, I will be describing you a conversation between Narada Muni and Brahmaji. And meanwhile, actually, he offered obeisances to Krishna. Devotees said, he, with very inquisitive questions and very well versed question by Parikshit Maharaj, he forgot to do Mangalacharan, and then he did Mangalacharan in chapter 4. He said, let me offer my respectful obeisances to the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrance, audience, prayers, hearing, and worship can at once clean the effect of all the sins of a performer. It means what? As a living being, how much sin we can do. However, when we hear about Krishna's glorification, remember him, and start worshipping Krishna, the sins, even if we cannot think of those much sins, is being cleared as well. So when we take a bath in the Ganges river or the holy rivers, or when we go to the holy Dham, our sinful activities just go down. However, the desire to do sinful activity, it doesn't goes away. That seed is already there. But when we worship Lord Krishna, all the sin goes away, as well as the sinful desire which tempts us to do sinful activities also goes away as well. And then he offers prayer to Lord Krishna, glorifies him in nearly 15 to 20 verses. And then he said a very nice word. Then he said, the Krishna is the husband of all goddesses of fortune, and he is supreme in all in all. Let's understand this a bit point. He said he is the husband of all goddesses of fortune. Actually, Prabhupada writes in the purport that everyone are searching for fortune, isn't it? Everyone is somehow or other looking for fortune. But Prabhupada says people do not know that how to get fortune. Fortune is beloved husband, beloved husband of fortune is Krishna, and not just only one. Not just only one, hundreds and thousands of Lakshmi Devi, he is serving to Lord Krishna. The goddesses of fortune, they are serving to Lord Krishna. So when we invite Krishna in our heart, in our home, definitely goddesses of fortune, they come along with us. That's what Prabhupada says. So we are searching for fortune, but we do not know where to find. We are searching fortune by maybe working so hard or earning money and enjoying here and there. However, he says, if we worship Lord Krishna, then fortune will definitely come towards us. And then he says, Sukadeva Goswami, that Krishna is the supreme all in all, and be merciful upon me. Normally, in general, when we go to temple, I think something. When we go to temple, we generally ask, okay, I came here, I've offered you this much, donation, or this much of brought something for you. So please make sure my work is being done. But here So Gurudev Goswami is saying that Krishna, who is the husband of all goddesses of fortune, please be merciful upon me. He is begging mercy, right? And that is how, because he said, Krishna is the one who can gives us liberation. And he begged mercy from Krishna before start talking about, glorifying about Lord Sri Krishna. And then we enter chapter 5, where Sukadeva Goswami says that this question was already asked by Narada Muni once to Lord Brahma, and I will recite the same to you. So right now there are three things going on. If you remember, Sonakadi Rishi, they are talking with Suta Goswami, and Suta Goswami explaining or glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam to rishis at Naimisharanya. And these two, the conversation are discussing about Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami is narrating Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. So Suta Goswami is narrating this story, and now Sukadeva Goswami is narrating a story from Lord Brahma and Narada Muni conversation. So it's inside is the right. And then Narada Muni asked a question. He says, please, when he went to Lord Brahma, he could see that he is in full meditation. He is meditating on something. And he said, my dear father, his father as well. He said, my dear father, please, you know the background. You know how this cosmos is being created because you have created it. And everything is under your control. So please describe me those things. Please let me know how these things have happened. And he said, I know that you hold this all cosmos as a walnut in your hand. However, is there anyone superior to you, to whom you are meditating? So why are you doing some austerities? So please, is there someone powerful than you? So please explain me that as well. And then Lord Brahma started answering these questions. He says, oh Brahma, Narada Muni, whatever you are telling is not false until and unless someone is aware of Supreme Personality of Godhead, means Krishna. So if one is not aware of Krishna, then they say me, the words you have spoken is true, that I have created everything, but that's not the complete truth. And he says, the ultimate truth is beyond me, right? And one is sure to be illusioned by observing my powerful activities, because I have created this all 14 planetary system. And that's why people get bewildered. And the work of Maya or illusion makes people bewilder more, that they do not know Krishna and they glorify me. And then he says that I have just recreated what's been created by Krishna himself. And actually we'll be ending Canto 2 nearly, then we will see 10 topics of Bhagavatam. There we will also discuss what part being created by Lord Brahma. Then he says, what he explains that, I create, after Lord creates from his personal effulgences, from Brahma Jyoti, he expands himself, and then as sun manifests its fire, the moon, or firmament, then I create in the same way. It's basically like, let's suppose we have our eyes, but our eyes are capable of seeing things. But just imagine if we switch off the light or there is no sun, can we see it? Can we see anything in darkness? No. Our eye is capable of seeing is because a light is coming into the object, so we are, and by the reflection of that we are seeing it. And hence the sun gives the light so that we see it. Or in the night we see our bulbs and two lights, the things. In the similar way, he is saying that everything is coming from Krishna. I am just showing it to everyone. I am just recreating it. An important thing here, that Brahmaji humbly admits that he is not Supreme Lord. He does not take any credit. And right now, if you see, mostly in India, every corner people say, okay, I am God. Right. I'd like to read some of the things from Bhagavad Gita. What Brahmaji is saying to be more clarified. Krishna says, Bhoktaram Yagatapaswam, it's in chapter 5. Bhoktaram Yagatapaswam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Sridam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Santi Satyam Rachati. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planet and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So first thing is that we do not know, or in general, Lord Brahma is saying, I am not a supreme, supreme is someone else. And Krishna is establishing that supremacy here. In 7th chapter again, he says, Daiva Harshi Gunamayi Mama Maya Durityaya Mame Vaya Prapadante Maya Metam Tarantiti. And Lord Brahma is saying, if we surrender to, one more is there. If you surrender to Lord Krishna's, then we can understand it. And Krishna says here, the divine energy of mind, consisting of 3 modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me, Krishna is saying, unto me, they can easily cross it. There's a very nice thing actually to read this Bhagavad Gita chapter 7. And then he says, Bahunam Janamanante Jnanavanam Prapadate Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlava. What does that mean? After many, many birth and death, he who is in knowledge surrender to me. It means when someone has the proper knowledge, they surrender to me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is, such a great soul is very rare. So Krishna says the same thing in Bhagavad Gita, it's very rare. And Brahmaji is saying, I have not created. Sorry, I am not the supreme. Supreme is someone beyond me. And a devotee was sharing a nice thing. He said, when people says I am supreme or I am Lord, then we can ask him or ask them that, okay, once upon a time you might have taken a incarnation of kurma or tortoise, isn't it? And on your back, the Mandrachal Parvat or hill was being placed, and it was being churned by demons and devatas. So, and it felt like you, like your, like the mother is, massaging your back, and you got asleep. So if you are God, the people who claim to be God, if you are God, then let us churn some of the quintal kgs of iron on your back, and let's see if you are getting sleep or you are going to somewhere else, right? So it's a nice analogy to understand that even Brahma is saying, I am not the supreme, someone is there, and his created people, they claim that I am God, right? So, and he explained that because of Maya, people call me supreme. And we see in Kunti Maharani prayer, she said that no, Maya Javanika Chanam, the Maya, it puts a curtain. Unless and until we surrender to Krishna, there's a curtain, and that curtain only can be removed by the will of Krishna. And that will of Krishna will get developed when we are attached to him, attached to his hearing or his glorification or chanting his holy name, right? And then he offers prayers and then started explaining about how creation happened. And actually, tomorrow we will be going through the all proper slides. I'll create a slide and then we will see how the creation goes on. And then actually Brahmaji explains that, I'll say in a nutshell, and then we'll tomorrow we'll expand it. He said, as a someone, let's suppose someone is having a, just imagine, in your home, you want to cook something. So we go out to the grocery shop, we get rice, raw rice and cereals and dals, or maybe some vegetables, different vegetables. And when we come home, it's everything different, it's raw. And when we start cooking it, we mix everything. Okay, let's put some ginger, let's put some, spices, let's put, vegetables, mix it, and it becomes a kind of sabji or a kind of vegetables or rice, isn't it being cooked? So in this way, Brahmaji said that everything is provided by him at first instance, and then I created it. It means I recreated it. So initially, if you say any of the vegetable, let's suppose palak paneer. So earlier there is no palak paneer. Palak, the Spanish is different, and paneer is different, and whatever we get some more items for that is all differently apart. Once they are combined, the name gets as palak paneer. So in the similar way, all the cosmos things required for creation is already given by Krishna, by Vishnu, and then Lord Brahma, he is mixed it up and create this creation. That's what he explained, and we'll go in detail how the explanation goes tomorrow, right? And then he says this all universe actually is dependent on him, and Narayana is the center of everything. And then there is a very nice verse. It's actually the same verse repeated in Canto 1 as well, in second chapter, if I'm not wrong. There also it says, and the same verse comes by even by Brahma as well. It says, Narayana Paraveda, Devo Narayana Gajaha, Narayana Paraloka, Narayana Paramakha. What does that mean? The Vedic literature are made by and are meant for Supreme Lord. Even Krishna says, Vedas eva ameva vedyo. All the Vedas is actually to know me. And Brahma is saying the same thing. The Vedic literature are made by and are meant for Supreme Lord. Krishna has made the Vedas, also it's meant for him only. And the Devi Devatas, the demigods, are also made for serving the Lord. We discussed yesterday how all the parts are given to all the demigods and how they are serving it. The Brahma is saying the same thing, and they are also serving the Lord as a part of his body. And the different planets are also meant for the sake of the Lord, and different sacrifices are performed just to please him. And the same things is repeated by Krishna himself, and Brahma is saying that that personality is the one who is superior to me. And then in the next verse he says, Narayana para yoga, Narayana param tapah, Narayana param jnanam, Narayanam param gati. Means all different types of meditation or mysticism are meant for realizing Narayana. So either you go take the process of karma yoga or jnana yoga or dhyana yoga or bhakti yoga, everything is actually to realize Narayana, Krishna, Vishnu, to that extent. And then he says all austerities are aimed at achieving Narayana. Krishna says the same in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yagatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I am the one I achieve I get all the austerities should come to me only. And by this, he says, Narayana, the ultimate salvation is entering to the kingdom of Narayana. So we as a living entity, the goal of our life should be to enter the kingdom of Narayana. And then Lord Brahma describes about Jiva Tattva and Vishnu Tattva. And then he says there are three modes that controls this cosmos actually, or called as gunas. And Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 and 17 and some part of 18 also describes about these three modes clearly. The three modes are mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. Satogun, Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. And these three are controlled by Lord himself. So Lord controls these three gunas. Also, these three gunas are being controlled by three deities, or those are called as guna avatars. I have made a slide, not slide, but notes to go through the avatars. Let's see if we have time, we'll try to go it. And then he says, Lord control these three gunas, and these three gunas control us. We are living entity. Who we are? We are a part and a partial of Krishna. right? We are a part and parcel of Krishna. And people sometimes, or some other philosopher, they say that we are God. That's not possible. That's a half-baked philosophy saying that I am God. We can never be God. If we are God, then why are we suffering? God was Krishna. He came, he never suffered. He enjoyed everything. Either he enjoyed killing Putna in 3 or 6 days, and even he enjoyed his all everything. So we are not God. We need to understand this logic as well. And Brahma is saying three gunas are there, and these three gunas binds us. These three guna binds us, and because of that, we are always get devoid of Krishna, because the modes are always binding us in other or different ways. And definitely that actually it clearly explained in chapter 14 and 17 what gunas are and how they binds us. Maybe in a mode of goodness, we are always in a very equipoised position. We are self-satisfied, happiness. And in Rajaguna, we are always hankering for some more thing. And in ignorance, it's kind of laziness, sleeping, no scriptural influence, nothing like that. It's just a synopsis. And then he started explaining about how this, sound, air, earth, touch, form, water has came. That again we will go on tomorrow with the slides to make it more clear. And then he said time got manifested. From time, this Mahatattva comes, then mode of goodness, devatas comes, and mode of passion, the other things comes. And by explaining all this, he explained actually about the three Vishnu Purusha avatars. And then he explains that how Krishna enters into his Virata Rupa, which is actually a temporary, but he compares with mouth and head of Krishna as Brahmanas, and his arms as Kshatriya, his thighs as Vaishya, and legs as Shudras. And then also the planet system being also compared with Krishna, his body as head is Satyaloka, his chest or breast is called as Tapaloka, then neck is Janaloka, then Maharloka, Swargaloka, his waist where we are is kind of Burloka. And then the lower part is called as Atala, Vatala, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, and Patal. We'll go tomorrow a bit more into the same as well. And then after that saying this, he said as Garbhodakasaya Vishnu provides the ingredients to create the universe, and then Lord Brahma create the universe. So he actually from Garbhodakasaya Vishnu a lotus stem comes. And in the lotus stem, Lord Brahma get born. Even if you see, we are discussing about Kunti Mahastuti, there she is Namah Pankaja Nabhaya. So it's compared, navel is being compared to Lord's lotus flower, because lotus is transcendental flower and it is beyond creation of Lord Brahma. And then he described more things about this creation. This is it's not the material universe all in all. He also said apart from this there is a spiritual world. And so in 100% or in 100, 25 is material world and 3/4 or 75% is actually spiritual world. Just imagine it. If you see the science has given us so much thing, isn't it? If you go on saying galaxy and Milky Way, and we can see how huge it is, isn't it? And Brahma is saying this is just 1/4 of that, and spiritual world is 3/4 of that. Imagine how big or gigantic it would be, right? Just see in a Milky Way, and imagine Glasgow. You might not find the place as well, isn't it? And that is just 1/4, and still 3/4 is spiritual world. And by this he compares that this part and that upper part. What he says, important thing to understand, that there in spiritual world there is no birth and death cycle. Here we have someone takes birth, have to die, then again birth. It goes on in different spaces also, right? And then this is an important thing, because there we become eternal. We are actually, we are eternal. However, due to three gunas, we are conditioned, and we are suffering because of three gunas. And then he describes about the nature of soul, and he says the in spiritual world, everyone is actually a servant. They are serving Lord. But in this material world, we are trying to Lord ourselves, or trying to become ourselves that we are Lord. Though it doesn't happen, just try to understand with simple logic how it happens, how Krishna is actually supreme or superior. In Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada gives an example. In a park, let's suppose in your backyard, uh, your children is playing. However, in that backyard, whatever is maybe space or area it is, the child is free to play, isn't it? And but the child cannot go beyond that backyard, because we are controlling them. We are saying, okay, you can't go there. It's your area. You play now here. It's your area. Wherever you want to play, but you can't cross the area. In the similar way, this material cosmos, these three gunas is binding us, and we are playing between us by our own will. But there is supreme power is there who is controlling to us, and we can't see that limit unless until we become start our process of bhakti. And then he explained that fear, here there is a fear factor, fear of tomorrow, isn't it? What will happen tomorrow? But there is no fear. And here we have forgetfulness as avidya. And Krishna also explains the same thing in 15th chapter. He says, forgetfulness, remembrance, this actually comes from me. And knowledge, forgetful, remembrance, and knowledge comes from me. But in spiritual world, it's absence. Everyone is, because everyone is surrendered to Krishna himself, right? And by that he explains more on those things, and he says, Sachidananda, we are Sachidananda as well. Krishna is Sachidananda, but we are meager, we are very tiny. But Krishna is complete, is full Sachidananda Vigraha, right? And by this he explains about the other part, about what the differences between the living entity, a jiva, and supreme personality of God, or Krishna. Then he says, by his will only, I create, Lord Shiva destroys, and he himself, as an expansion of Vishnu, he takes care, maintain it. So we see three things: creation, maintenance, and destructions. So creation is being done by Lord Brahma, maintenance of this world is being done by Lord Vishnu, and destruction is done by Lord Shiva. So Lord Brahma is in charge of mode of passion from the three gunas. Vishnu is in charge of mode of goodness, and Shiva is in charge of mode of ignorance. So it does not mean that Lord Shiva is in ignorance. He's just in charge of ignorance. And then he compares that it's not possible to completely know Lord. Just imagine, Lord Brahma is saying it's not possible to know completely. And why he's saying, Krishna, I have hold his feet tightly, and he is in my heart, and I can't be wrong. These are the words of Lord Brahma. He says, my words and minds and senses can never go wrong as I hold Krishna in my heart. And by that he says, Krishna, it is not possible to know Krishna completely. Even in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says the same thing. Then these three guna avatars, as we discussed, we'll go in more detail tomorrow as well. And I want to go to, okay. Then after that, he describes about various incarnation of Lord, as we discussed earlier in 22 avatars as well. He said Bara avatar, Kapila, Dattatreya, Chaturkumar, Nar Narayana, Prithu Maharaj, the Narsimha, Narhari, Rama. This all he described in a very nutshell, very quickly, and then at the in very kind of 10-15 slokas, he describes about the pastimes of Lord Krishna, which we will be hearing elaborately in Canto 10. Canto 10 elaborately discuss about all these things. He described about the pastimes of how Krishna killed Putana, how he delivered the Arjuna trees, whatever the Damodar Leela, how the Kaliya Naga is being delivered, and how he swallowed the fire forest, and the Shatakasura. These three things, these things actually he describes in just one slokas and goes on. He says to provide that this is the supremacy of Lord Krishna, and he does this by his will. No one, see, I'm not sure when we'll go to Canto 10, but you can see that, how Putana is being killed just by 6 days or 3 days child, right? And he swallowed the whole forest fire where, the cows were being surrounded, and he told his gopas and that close your eyes. They closed eyes and Krishna swallowed the fire. Finished. Just imagine it, right? And when we will hear those stories, the leelas, that will be amazing. So there are two kind of leelas. One Krishna leela is for creation, the maintenance, and one he does for his own leelas. And final words by Lord Brahma, he says, it is easy to count atoms on the earth, but not easy to count the glories or incarnation of Lord Krishna. So time is going up. So that is even we will discuss the same thing earlier, that incarnations of Krishna is like the waves of ocean. It's uncountable, and Krishna takes many incarnation as per his will. There is no foundation. We discussed earlier that we as a living entity do not have a choice of birth, neither have a choice of death, but we have a choice to act, to do our activities. But Krishna, he comes by his will. Where he want to come, it's all his will. And where he want to disappear, though he don't die, whenever he want to disappear, he goes back to his kingdom without any problem, right? And then that Brahmaji says, even scientists also, who might have counted the particles of atoms of the universe, cannot count Lord Krishna's incarnations. By explaining these things, Lord Brahma said to Narada Muni, so that how can someone understand this logic? How can someone understand this? Just by mercy is needed, and that mercy is from Krishna. There is no other way to understand him. There is no other way to understand him. I read that verse from Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Where it says, Bhaunam Janmanante Jnanavana Prapadate Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, who actually in knowledge surrender to me. And by knowing me that I am the cause of all causes, that kind of person is very rare. Very rare. And even Krishna spoke earlier as well, Manushyanam sastrestu kaschidate siddhe yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mamaveti tattvataha. So to know Krishna in tattva is very rare, but that can be known by mercy of him. And how can we get the mercy? We can get the mercy of him by approaching to a bona fide spiritual master. And a bona fide spiritual master actually will help us to know him. And because the Krishna says the same in Bhagavad Gita in 4th chapter, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. Approach a spiritual master, do service to him, and inquire inquisitively, submissively. And he has seen the truth, so he will say the truth to you. And that is how a very important logic comes to in our life, that to have a spiritual master, to surrender to a spiritual master who can actually let us know about these glories. And then after saying this, Brahmaji said, I have given you the knowledge, now it's your duty to expand it. And Narada Muni, he just by association or fraction of association with anyone, he turns into devotees. We have seen so many stories and past times. If you see Dhruva Maharaj, even Prahlad Maharaj, and then yeah, Balmiki, there's a nice example as well. Just by one's association, one meeting with Balmiki, he turned into Rajesh Devarishi. So this is how we end chapter number 7. And I had some more thing, but I think its time is getting away. So tomorrow we will discuss the same thing, and we will be doing, I'll create a slide where we can discuss about the whole creation, how creation happened, and that will clear our more understanding from this today's chapter, right? So how all the ingredients being created, and how Brahma took the ingredient and created everything, and what he did, kind of things we will be discussing completely tomorrow. Else it's going to take more time from now. Yes, we will do it tomorrow. So if any questions or any suggestions, please let me know.
One question, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
Prabhu, in the portion where you said that Sri Krishna, Bhagavan Vishnu created Lord Brahma, created Lord Shiva. So that portion I missed. So is it like, so Vishnu created Lord Shiva, and Brahma was Lord Shiva as well?
So see, Lord Shiva is actually a different tattva. So we will go on to that. But again, he is son of Brahma as well, isn't it? So okay. Lord Shiva, there are 5 to 6 tattvas to be understood. The one is the Vishnu tattva, then Jiva tattva, then Maya tattva, then Guru tattva, then one the most complicated ones comes is Shiva tattva as well. So we'll try to understand it. So Lord Shiva is actually, what Brahma Samhita explains is that Lord Shiva is nearly equal to Lord Vishnu.
Okay.
But there is slight difference.
But you said Shiva is the son of Lord Brahma?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Shiva Tattva is a different, but Shiva is kind of, Lord Shiva is being praised higher than Lord Brahma as well. And
yeah, because there's a completely different story where Lord Brahma, I'm pretty sure you would also know that Lord Brahma and Vishnu were sort of there, and then this beam of light came in between them, and they couldn't figure out who it is and what it is. So Brahma went to the bottom of it to find the source, and Vishnu went on top of it to find the source, and nobody could find it. So I'm not sure, how is it that Shiva is Brahma's child if he does not even know who it was?
No, it's there. You see, the Brahma Samhita explains that the difference between Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu is, as I said, there is very, 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 very minor difference, but both are almost same. So as milk, so from milk, when it become, when we put some, lemon, it becomes curd, right? Isn't it? It transfers into curd. So however, that we'll understand in chapter 4. However, from curd, we cannot get back to milk again. So from milk, we get curd, but from curd, we cannot, or from yogurt, we cannot get back to milk. So that's the only difference in the, but both are the same part.
Yeah.
So even Lord Shiva, actually, to be honest, it's not just only one. There are 4 kinds of Lord Shiva. Mm-hmm. And one who actually destroy, who take the in charge of destruction is called as Rudra. Mm-hmm. And even in Lord Shiva, there are 12 kind of Rudras are there. So that's, as I said, even Lord Shiva is, this tattva is again a very different and complex topic as well.
Prabhu, you also said that Lord Shiva is the biggest Vaishnava, matlab highest.
Yes.
So, okay, I mean, okay, maybe we can discuss this in a bit detail sometimes after some time whenever you get
Yeah,
such chance.
Sure, no problem. And especially Lord Shiva comes into Guna Avatara. He's, as I said, he's an avatar as well. So it's called as Guna Avatar as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, we won't be joining you tomorrow. We will join you on Tuesday.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay? So we're busy tomorrow, so we'll join you on Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.